Alright, hello YouTube, how y'all doing today? Today we're going to be doing a mod review for Kerbal Space Program on the TAC life support. And TAC stands for Thunder Aerospace Corporation. And I have a lot of mods installed on this save, but none of them interfere with this mod in particular. Now, this mod makes it to where your Kerbals can die from lack of food, water, and air. So, just for example, you have containers which hold these supplies. Also, all command capsules have a certain amount. So, for example, you have 1.420 of food, water, and then oxygen. Then you have carbon dioxide, which is waste air. Then you have solid waste and waste water. Now, you have all these containers. You got a food container, a large food container, which is 2 meters. And then a small one, which is the probe size 0.6 meters, I believe it is. Anyway, you got all these containers here, which contain food. General life support, which contains food, oxygen, and water. What's this one? Oxygen, which is just pure oxygen. Life support, which is waste here. So this thing right here will hold all types of waste. Carbon dioxide, your waste water, and your solid waste. Now, also, though, you have... Let's see which one. This right here is same thing, just another 2.5 meter version. You have the probe size here, water container. And let's see, where's the other thing I'm looking for? Okay, an air filter. Now the air filter here, so since your Kerbals breathe, they will take in oxygen and take out carbon dioxide. Now this little module will essentially, as the description will say here, that filters oxygen out of the air. It requires intake air. It will not function in the atmosphere if the atmosphere does not contain oxygen, not carbon or lathe. So yeah, essentially, this right here, if you need more oxygen for your craft, you can swing it down to the atmosphere of either carbon or lathe, and bring more air in. A carbon extractor. Now basically this right here takes the carbon out of carbon dioxide, leaving breathable oxygen. But it does not have a 100% efficiency rate, as you can see down there, an efficiency multiplier of about 7.4. So if you can't, let's say you're in orbit around Joule, and you need oxygen, and you have a ton of carbon dioxide, you can use this carbon extractor to take carbon dioxide and give you back oxygen. Here we have a large carbon extractor and recycler. Now, this right here basically takes carbon dioxide again and makes oxygen from it, but it requires water to do this as well. Now, to be quite perfectly honest, I don't know what the difference is between this one and this one. Let's go to the normal sizes. Input and your output. Let's see what the difference is. They have about the same efficiency, it looks like. Or no, this one appears a little bit more efficient, because the waste is lower output. But honestly, I don't really know the difference between that. I will just admit to that now. I don't use a whole lot of the recyclers. Anyway, a water purifier. This right here will essentially take your wastewater and leave you with drinkable water using electric charge. All these extractors use electric charge at some point. You have a large water purifier, and lastly, a water splitter. So if you have a ton of water, you can essentially get oxygen and waste out of it at the same time using electrolysis, which essentially splits water molecules and gives you, because of course water is H2O, hydrogen and oxygen. So that's how you get your oxygen back, which you can also, that way you can get more air for your Kerbals. Now, that right there might be kind of important, because air is more important than water. Your Kerbals can go a couple days without food and water, but they can only go so long without electricity and air. Those are the two biggest things that your Kerbals need, which I'm just going to demonstrate here and show you the little toolbar thingy which will help you determine how long your Kerbals can live. Let me just go ahead and get infinite fuel, just to make it a little bit easier. So go ahead and get rid of that for the time being. and launch this. Now if you right click on here, it'll show you have 350 electric charge, you've got 1.42 food, 2.70 water, and 456 oxygen, and 0 waste products. Now if you go up here to your TAC life support monitoring window, it'll show you for this spacecraft here, which is untitled because I didn't title it, it's got 2 crew members on board. It's got 3 days worth of food left on board, 3 days worth of oxygen and water, but only an hour and 45 minutes of electricity. So essentially what that means is, once this craft gets into orbit and the engine quits working because I have no batteries and no solar panels on board, once the engine stops and the electricity runs out, the crew will die within a matter of hours. Actually, I take it back, minutes, because electricity is used to regulate temperature inside the spacecraft, but also to filter the air. Not filter, but pump the air, I should say. So essentially, if you run out of any of these, some are more severe than others. For example, if you run out of food, you've got a couple days to get food up there to them or get them back home, one of the two. Water, same thing, a couple days, but you still don't want to take your time with it. Oxygen, it's a need to do right now thing. Electricity, same way. Need to do it right now. You need to get them power and air and keep them that way as soon as possible. Now, one thing about TAC though is, even if you're not focused on this craft, it will continue to use resources, which is another mod to have that I really like to use is Kerbal alarm clock. And I will set this, so for example, we've got 3 days worth of life support remaining on this craft, aside from electricity. Just ignore that for now. We can add a new alarm here for 3 days, and that way once 2.5 days, that way once our craft gets low on life support resources, we can send a resupply ship up, or we can bring them back home, one of the two, whichever is easier, and if their mission is completed or not. So that's basically all there is to this mod. It's a really good mod if you want to play more hard and realistic style game, because if you're going out to, I don't know, Elu on a landing mission to colonize it or something, you got to pack a lot of life support, which the modules don't exactly weigh a lot, but after a while it does add up, obviously. And I mean, if you don't have enough, you lose your crew, and you need a crew to operate a craft. And if you have remote tech, it can just get really complicated really quickly. So that's pretty much this video, guys. Hope you guys enjoy it. If you want to see more mod reviews, just give us a like and recommend me a mod to look at. I'll see y'all next time.